Hello, solo tubers, and welcome back to not Let's Watch Solo, but Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 Solo. With me, BlueAnkylo. Of course, we're playing the Game Boy Advance version. We're going solo fighter, or warrior, perhaps. And on the first episode, we breezed through the early game, because fighters are overpowered. And honestly, it hasn't been too difficult so far. We've had a few deaths due to Astos being a jerk, because he's always a jerk, and a couple stun locks, but that's par for the course on any solo run, no matter who your character is. So anyway, welcome back everybody. Hope you're enjoying the series. I expect this will be a quick run. The warrior or fighter in a solo NES Final Fantasy 1 was always pretty easy, and I think the changes in this game will make a solo warrior easier for the majority of the game. Now, I just want to put a caveat out there. For those of you that have already decided, Blue's playing some easy child's play game, he can't lose, there's no way, this is too easy now. It's not even, how dare you call it a challenge run, right? You know, I could hear you, I can sense it, you know, it's not necessarily looking like it's going to be as hard as a NES Final Fantasy 1 solo run, let's say. But, I just want to tell you, the one specific reason that I already did a test run of solo was because I had a feeling that the final boss might not even be killable with a solo character, and I was a little bit worried about it. Like, actually concerned enough to put in the time to test it out before I started this game. That's a rough encounter here. Anyway, we'll win this eventually, but it's gonna take a while. Red Sahagins or Sahagin Chiefs are a bit tougher than normal Sahagins. Anyway, the final boss has got a huge buff in the remake of Final Fantasy 1. And not only does he have more HP, significantly, he still has Cure 4 that full heals him. And with a lot more HP and only one damage dealer, it could be very difficult to kill him before he gets healed. He also has a lot of very powerful attacks, which, I mean, the warrior's pretty tanky, so that's not so much the problem. But, just killing him before Cure 4, and also managing your HP, you know, how am I going to heal up? He doesn't have Cure, like, I don't know Cure 4. So keeping your fighter alive long enough to kill the boss before he full cures himself, and then, you know, like, it can actually be kind of difficult. And, I was worried about it, but I do know it's possible now, because I've done it. And that will be probably the biggest challenge of the run, is the final boss. Although along the way, I'm sure we'll see some interesting tricks. Part of it is I'm planning on playing through most of the game without level grinding. Specifically, I'd like to get promoted without being too high of a level first. I'm not going to spend a lot of time running from battles, because that much seems silly. But the lower level you are, I guess just to spoil it, the lower level you are as a fighter or a thief, when you promote and you get access to magic and start gaining MP points. Unlike NES Final Fantasy 1, it's not a spell charge system where you get a number of charges per tier, per level. You have an MP system like more modern Final Fantasies. But you don't start gaining MP until you promote. So if you got to level 99 and then promoted, you'd have no MP, you couldn't cast any magic. If you promoted somehow at level 1, you'd actually get the most potential MP growth of anyone. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do that, but suffice to say, I'd rather not be already level 70 by the time I get the option to promote. I think it's probably worth fighting the Buccaneers, because they're always going to give you good gil. And I know, sorry if I'm not explaining the story here. Last episode, you know, we killed the Dark Elf. We took his crystal that he stole from Matoya. We returned it to Matoya. She gave us a tonic or a herb, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to use that to wake up the actual Prince of Elfland, who's been sleeping in magical slumber, probably cursed by Astos. And now he's awake. Hooray! And he can give me some stuff. Like the Mystic Key. Alright, now we can open a bunch of doors that are locked. So let's just do a quick treasure grab. None of this is really required in this kind of, in a fighter solo run. but it's nice to have items you can sell for money, like a mithril hammer. Bronze gloves actually is an upgrade. Ish. -2 evasion for 1 more absorb. It's not a good upgrade. Just for fun, we're gonna go back to Astos' castle, which is where we started the episode, of course. And I'm doing this because there's 2 chests, or 3 chests in there. Now there's nothing in there that we need, equipment-wise. Also, we're just about able to kill ogres in 1 hit, which is pretty cool. There's nothing we need, but there's something that's worth a lot of money to sell. So that's what we're gonna pick up over this way. Love this soundtrack, so much fun. Now don't stand directly below any of these chests if you are playing a solo run, or you will have a bad day. I guess it's better than nothing. The Falcon is actually tied with the Broadsword, interestingly enough. I wonder if it, like, has a better crit rate or something that's hidden. Anyway, there's automatic encounters below those 3 chests. They can all either put you to sleep or paralyze you, so they're stun-lock potential fights, which are very bad news for solo runs. So, if you're playing along, definitely don't mess around in that room. It's probably worth picking up the Power Staff, though. Not because it does anything. Well, it does one thing, let's say. I'll show that off in just a second. The one thing that a Power Staff can be used for. Alright, we're getting some level ups, as I would expect, without needing to grind. So if we sell some loot, leather's not worth much. Mithril hammer, respectable. Falcon, whatever, nothing special. Bronze staff, or power staff, whatever. 6,000 gil, pretty good deal. So there you go. That's the real reason I picked that up. It's pretty good money, and I'm gonna need some money soon. Continuing our treasure pickup, let's head to our homeland of Corneria, because there's a castle up here. Just gonna run from the imps at this point. And we'll just zip along the outside of the castle, you know the route. This is, if you explored thoroughly, you would have found out that these were locked by the Mystic Key a long time ago. And now you can finally open them. This was essentially your first quest, I guess, was to get this, the nitro powder. And we had to do a big long fetch quest to get here. And yeah, you know, they tell you about that, that's fine. I don't think the saber is anything. No, it's pretty bad. I think this might be one of the best weapons to this point that a thief can equip, but that's pretty bad. They're pretty bad. That's fine, nothing to worry about. Just had a little brain fart thinking about what equipment I wanted. So before we go into the ship back to the dwarf cave, we're gonna make a very quick trip to the castle I died in the first episode. No, the Chaos Shrine. Also, this is I just want to point this out. Those of you that noticed this in the first episode, this is one of the bonus dungeons. It's locked right now, but remember that for later if you want to do a bonus dungeon. Once you kill the Lich. Alright, lots of encounters. So, hopefully we don't get stun-locked in the first tiny little dungeon. I have a feeling with our current armor, those things would not have been able to actually pierce us. So we would have been paralyzed but taking 1 damage. Now this door was locked. So the reason we didn't come back and explore all this stuff in episode 1 was because this room was locked. So we couldn't have got in here anyway. And honestly, the treasure isn't even really that great. The Rune Blade would have been pretty awesome if we could have had it before we fought Astos. Seeing as we've already killed Astos, I don't know. I don't think it's really got any value. Sure, it's slightly better than the sword we used to have, but don't get your hopes up. We're about to jump that pretty significantly in just a minute here. I also don't know what Effective 2 does in terms of damage dealt, so I don't know how to compare, like, -2 base damage, but effective against certain types of enemies. You know, it's hard to say. In the NES version, apparently, weapons were intended to function like that, where certain enemies would be weak to certain types of weapons. It works for spell elements and all that, but not for weapons. But this version, at least, fixes that, which is pretty cool. One of the reasons I would say that this is the go-to for video game remakes, essentially. Okay, seriously, guys. Alright, just kill him. I tried to be nice. I tried to let the wolves go. They refused to cooperate. Alright, we're good. Next. Alright. There's technically 2 more areas that have locked chests. But one of them is at the bottom of the marsh cave. And it's not worth it. I think there's a silver bracelet down there. Or whatever they call it in this version. Which is worth a bit of money. But it's not armor that we want on our fighter anyway. And even if we could make a bit of money, it's better to just move forward, I think. Going backwards to the marsh cave with the chance to get stun locked, it's just not worth it. As a general rule, you try to avoid areas with enemies that can kill you with stun lock. And yeah, our damage output is starting to get pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So last time we looted their little tiny room, but there was always this big, giant treasure room down here. But it was locked, of course. So now that we've got the Mystic Key... And this is essentially why the stop at the castle, the Chaos Shrine, was such a waste of time. You get a weapon in here that's better anyway. The Worm Killer. It's only +1. But I'd rather have the +1 damage, even in this game, than certain enemies might take a little bit more damage. There's a lot of werebeasts. Like, this probably works on werewolves. And I think... possibly any enemies that regenerate, maybe. Although that's fire specifically. This is supposed to work on them. And, you know, it's hard to say exactly what works on what. You know, that's all I'm trying to say. Great helm. It's great. And, oh yeah, the Mithril Mail. It's kind of disappointing. It actually has less defense than iron. Just, it's lighter, so you get more evasion. I like to prefer the armor on a fighter. And then the end of the quest chain, or the fetch quest. The TNT, or Nitro Powder. Get ready for some high-quality FMV. Oh yeah, and all the dwarves sound, well, I guess Scottish, right? If you're bothering to read all the text. I like the fact that we've run away as he blows up the cave. There it is, our fancy cutscene. Look at this. Better than you were expecting, right? Look at those graphics. Sploosh! Alright. Good job digging that tunnel. Alright, thanks. Anyway, let's move along. Move along, little doggy. If I want to make as much progress as last episode, I gotta speed this up a bit. Alright, we'll kill the cobras, whatever. Alright, encounter rate. Leave me alone. I'm done with this area. It's boring. We're out of here. We're never coming back. Oh, so many Sahagins. Can I flee? Yeah, good job, fleeage. Alright, this is also a bonus dungeon that is locked. Perhaps you can guess when it will unlock. Alright, Melmond. So, if you got lucky and Garland dropped a longsword, that is what you would have got from the first boss, which would have definitely made killing Astos easier. But we didn't, and I'm also not going to spend the money on it. Yeah, no money on that. And the Knight's Armor is pretty darn expensive, probably not worth it 90% of the time. We could have got a silver armlet for free. This stuff we've already got. So again, kind of a disappointing town, I would say. Oh, technically in the ocean there are enemies that can stun lock you. So save the game every now and then. It's not very likely to happen, but if you fight any of those eyeball enemies, they can definitely put Paralyze on and keep you paralyzed forever while their friends eat you. Okay, we sort of skipped an area. We're fighting enemies that are significantly more dangerous than the previous area. Poison should be okay. They've got like 300 HP, give or take, or something like that. Luckily, the fighter's pretty good. Maybe not 300, but 200 to 250, I'm going to say. Anyway, these guys used to be called Peds. Definitely give a ton of experience. And this is where you want to go to level up if you want to level up right now. Alright, save the game. You'll see, my levels will just fly in this area. Like, probably a level up every couple fights, easily. Unless we get one troll. But still, 600 is a lot better than 200, right? These guys are a pain. Just get out of here. I'm not a huge fan of big groups when you're doing a solo challenge. It just takes too long to kill them. Alright, we made it to Crescent Lake. So we jumped to a town that actually sells reasonable weapons. So there's the Mithril Sword that you've been wondering about, the Silver Sword. It's pretty good. Definitely an upgrade. I'm just going to go with the Mithril Axe. I'm going to take +2 damage and the chance to sometimes do 1 less attack than others. But it'll just be always +2 damage per hit over the other weapon. So, you know, it'll cost me a little bit of damage once in a while, but I think most of the time it's fine. And again, because we're playing as an overpowered class, we probably don't need to worry about min-maxing and optimizing quite that much. Alright, and again, maybe you could have held on to the Dragon Slayer sword for killing a couple dragons if you're worried about that, but that's not the kind of thing I'm worried about. Also, big armor upgrade, Mithril everything, which is way better than in the other towns, so... The only Mithril armor that sucks is the Mithril Mail. Everything else is pretty good. So here we go. +4. +1, but more evasion. +2, more evasion. Pretty good deal, right? Oops. I didn't need to sell the cottage. That's... okay. I actually want to hold on to these for later. They're kind of the cheap way to restore MP in the field. Alright, and get rid of that. Alright, we're looking pretty good. So we should buy high potions. That's what we need. All of them. Yep. Spend all your money, buy high potions. I'm not kidding. It's your only decent way to heal as a fighter in a solo challenge. Ethers don't matter, but they're pretty cheap, honestly. Like, that's a good deal. I'm just going to stock up on normal potions for now. And that's it. I'm going to buy some more antidotes, and that's all I need to do, basically. So, what would be wise, make no mistake, is to spend a little bit of time right now getting a few levels up. It really wouldn't take very long to get to level 30. But I'm going to try without grinding, because so far that's been the name of the challenge. But seriously, you should probably get some level ups here if you're playing along. I don't know what to tell you exactly how high a level you should go for, but higher than I am, because the next boss probably has some luck required to beat at a low level. But we'll see. Hoping for a couple more encounters here, just to get some passive leveling as I travel. Yeah, look at that. The trolls regenerate, so theoretically the weapon that's strong versus werebeasts might work on them. I don't know. You know, we'll still get plenty of level ups in the dungeon. It'll be fine. Just don't start running away from all the enemies. You'll probably be okay. I'd love to know how the shark ambushed us by jumping on board. That's pretty freaky. Did I overshoot? I'll still kill the buck. Actually, at this point, 600 gold is pointless. I'm not sure why I decided to do that. Alright, Melmond. Oh yeah, I was gonna buy some antidotes. Do I need antidotes? Oh, in this situation, you should always kill the eyes first, because they'll stun lock you. Be smart, Blue, be smart. I got 9 antidotes, that's probably enough. You don't get poisoned that often. I'm not gonna fight all these wolves, please. Please! You can also just hold L and R to auto-run. Surely we'll auto-run eventually. Please, game. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I'll kill the shadows. They're acceptably good experience, and they can't really hurt me, so... Let's see how much we get. 600. Yeah, we'd be better off by Crescent Lake, no doubt. Now, I'll show it off, even though I don't intend to use it. But in case you don't want to travel to Crescent Lake to get experience, there's another good area right here. Not this one specifically. Right here? Yeah. So these squares are guaranteed encounters, and you will get some combination of, well, giants and iguanas, or let's call them lizards, every step you take. And they're pretty good for experience. So this would be another pretty good way to level up. Gotta be a little bit careful because they deal some damage, and you're not right beside an inn like in Crescent Lake where you can just go to the inn for cheap. But, you know, I've definitely done some level grinding on these kinds of areas in the past. I don't think we need to. We'll be okay. So let's do the first section of the Earth Cave. We can get that much done today at the very least. Right, and remember that my goal here is to not use a ton of save states or in-game saves, even though there's nothing preventing you from doing a save after every combat or every 5 steps. I still feel like it's kind of cheating. Although we will be putting a save down on the 3rd floor. For reasons that I'm sure you'll know if you've ever done a solo challenge, or you'll learn quite soon. The first 2 floors of the Earth Cave, as long as you know where to go, easy peasy, nothing to worry about. This level, though, is where people die. This is where you come to die on a solo run. It's not as bad as the Ice Cave, but it's getting close. Alright, try not to waste too many steps. Every step is a chance at a death encounter. This is fine. This is a nice lucky encounter, nothing wrong with that. Well, we're doing good here. This is bad. And paralyzed. This could probably just be the end right here. Unfortunately, with all of our absorption, it's gonna take a while. Once we get to 200, I'll just reset the game. I mean, we haven't had a single action since it started, so yeah, it's fine. You know what? You win. Congratulations, Wraiths. You managed to show the audience why I put a save right there. And why, if this gets too bad, we'll be putting more saves down. This floor is just terrible. It's all nice when you get the green ogres, but you don't always get green ogres, let's say. This is just as bad as the last one that killed me. Now, the random seed is still random enough that although it looks like we got the same bad encounter at about the same spot, there's nothing guaranteeing that you'll fight green ogres and then fight a paralyzing undead party. Alright, I get it. That's great. Thanks. Alright, let's try this again. 3rd time's the charm, right? Maybe we'll show off some of the other terrible enemies. Yeah, so, I mean, this might take a few tries. We basically need to not get that group, or escape immediately. Not get ambushed. Okay, this is getting better every time I reset. Alright, this time for sure. That's way better. Werewolves don't do anything. That's nothing to worry about. This floor, man. This floor. I don't even think higher levels would make any difference. You're just gonna get paralyzed, stun locked no matter what you do. Alright, that's good. Now, if you're playing a highly evasive character, you might have a bit better chance of not getting stun locked, but then you run other problems by having lower absorption and higher evasion. Which I'll talk about if I see that encounter. Okay, well we made it all the way to the boss. That's good. You should probably save here, but let's try not saving and see what happens. Unfortunately, this guy can stun lock you as well, so... Let's fight a vampire. We almost killed him in one shot. He managed to not paralyze us. That's a good start. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Come on, come on! Come on! Oh, I was just about to eat my hat. Alright, we got lucky. How much HP do those guys have, anyway? That's our 3rd boss, essentially, although... 280. We could have killed him in 2 hits with good luck, but... Alright, well, with 1 single HP, we've survived the vampire fight. Alright, good thing we bought all those potions, right? And unfortunately, we get a ruby, and this is the end of our Earth Cave adventure. We have to go back. And I am going to save it here, because the chances of dying on the way out are just too high. Oh yeah, this is the other fight I was thinking of. You generally can't run from these fights, unless the remake changed it, but we're not going to be wusses and run. But if you're playing a low absorption character, i.e. anyone who's not the warrior, those guys hit really hard, and seeing as you can't flee, you have to kill them, and they're fairly sturdy. Oh, great. This is why we saved it, basically. It's fine. We'll be out of here eventually. Imagine if you were playing on the NES version and you had to do the whole dungeon every time you got stunlocked. I think, though, the remake actually makes stunlock happen more often. I seem to recover from it less often than I remember in the NES solo challenges. Maybe I'm just blocking out bad memories. But I feel like in my times in solo runs in this game, I actually get stuck in a paralyzed loop way easier. Now this one, my general rule of thumb is if there are 4 or fewer paralyzers that you can kill in one hit each, it's probably more likely with a fighter to just kill them than to try to run. Because you'll kill one every single turn, and even if you get paralyzed, you'll probably break out and get a single action. And rather than taking that low % chance to run, just start killing them, and then you'll get paralyzed less and less. That's my own rule of thumb. I don't know if it's the optimized strat, but also these guys are really hard to run away from as well. I think they've got really high evasion or agility, so in this game, they're very difficult to escape. So we'll just fight it out. But yeah, I feel like small groups of paralyzers, I have better luck just killing them. Now, if you've got area of effect magic that can kill the whole group, like Fire 2, totally just do that. But if you have to run from big groups and try to kill the small groups. I feel like it's your best chance. Unless you're playing as a thief, in which case running is more guaranteed. But it's definitely not guaranteed on a warrior. Alright, well we're pretty much home free. Ran from some battles, fought a few battles. You know, how many times do you think we died there? 5 or 6? It's not too bad. It would have taken a lot longer if you had to save outside the dungeon and redo the dungeon every time. In that case, it might have been more worthwhile to get a few more level ups. Although, honestly, I don't think they would have changed very much. You know, you could have had the levels, but it wouldn't have stopped you from getting stunlocked very well. And, you know, it doesn't really matter how much HP or defense you have. Once you're paralyzed, it's game over. Also, this room's probably a waste of my time, but, I guess having some more money doesn't hurt. I don't think... Oh, the Great Axe. Yeah, it's not as great as they make it sound. You know, I guess if you didn't bother going to Crescent Lake, it's probably half okay. But as long as you went and picked up a silver or mithril weapon, yeah, this kind of stuff's kind of lame. I'll kill these guys, you know, it's fine. I probably should be at a higher level. If we're gonna go into that Earth Cave and fight the next big boss, we're gonna want a couple more level ups, I feel. Alright, this is Sarda. I'm not sure why the bottom of the screen glitched out. It seems to happen in the emulator now and then. It's probably some setting I could change to fix stuff like that. If you notice it, you know, +1 BlueAnkylo point. Good job for you. You get a BlueAnkylo point. No stars, just the BlueAnkylo point. Alright, so, you know, we killed the vampire. That's what the town of Melmon thought was corrupting the land. They were partially right. We got a ruby from the vampire. We took it to Sarda. He's like, hey, good job for killing the vampire. By the way, that's not what you needed to kill. Get back in that Earth Cave and do it again. And do it right, son. And also take this rod so you can go deeper. So that's what he did, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to kill any ogre we see, because they're good for experience and super easy now. Oh, we're ambushed by a Hyenodon. I don't really think those kinds of enemies have any special attacks, so... So look at that. Today's episode, we went from level 15 to level 26, and I'm not even trying to get levels up. Totally good. So, the last thing for today's episode, we'll make an attempt at finishing the dungeon, right? You know, we're halfway there. Of course, ambushed. I'm gonna try to run from some fights here. Yeah, you can still run from gargoyles. Now, if you get a high enough level, the enemies will start running from you, which does make some of the more difficult dungeons easier. Like, if you're really struggling with the ice cave, just keep grinding until you're at a high enough level that all the dangerous enemies just run away from you, and then you'll have a much better time. I seriously don't recommend doing that, but, you know, if you have no other option, it definitely works, but I mean, I'm thinking more in terms of the NES version. I don't really know how enemy running mechanics work in the remake. I'm assuming it's similar, but the level scale is different than it used to be, so I don't really know. There was a fancy morale stat. Enemies all had a morale, and based on your party level, they had a chance to run away, comparing your party level to your highest character level to their morale stat. It was weird. Anyway, even though we've slain the vampire, the third floor is still scary. We actually haven't even seen the worst enemy yet. You know, groups of wraiths and geists and whatever they're all called, all the undead paralyzers. These guys are really annoying, but you always have a chance to break paralyze. It's not very good, but there's a chance that this wouldn't kill you. There's a different enemy in here that's worse, and we just haven't seen it yet. Oh yeah, mummies can put you to sleep, so very similar to wraiths, although lower chances of it. Sleep is, I would say, less annoying than paralyze. Oh, we're dead. Just reset. Alright, we're off to just as good a time as the first attempt. Yeah, so usually it's, if you're not a fighter or warrior, the wizard / pisco demons, those are the fights that kill you if you're a squishy thief. Because you have no absorb and you can't run and you can't kill them. So those are fun. But everybody else gets killed by the stun lockers. And also the, well, there's still an enemy type we haven't seen. There is definitely one more group. And you know what? If we don't see it, I'm not going to complain. You who know... Oh, okay, we got first strike. We got really lucky. So cockatrice, if you know any kind of lore of any sort of anything, you can probably guess what they do. Let me just tell you, it's not good in a solo run if your main character gets turned to stone. Alright, thanks to the rod, we can open that floor. This floor is not as bad as the last one, but still bad. Actually, it might be exactly the same. Who am I kidding? The first encounter we get is instant death. Alright, that's why I put the extra save down. I just, you know, I don't want to have to redo the whole dungeon every 5 seconds. Because apparently, and I do stand by it, I feel like it's harder to get out of stunlock in this remake. I seem to remember ducking out of those things more regularly in the NES version. But, like, it's a death sentence. Every time we get paralyzed here, there's just no escape. You're done forever. I'm not sure if it's the way the turn orders work or what, but it just seems like I've never broken free in this solo challenge for Dawn of Souls. We basically need to not get this encounter for us to get through. And I would like to end the episode before this is an hour-long episode. So let's see if I can get a little bit better luck. That's the only way you're going to get through this. I haven't actually seen this group before. This is weird. Weird mix. That's probably a really rare formation, actually, because I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Okay, 2 is okay. Look at that. We killed them before they managed to stun lock us. We're good. Honestly, this floor is not even that large. No! Alright, well, you got to see it. Congratulations. Now you know. Just imagine having to start from scratch on this dungeon every time that happens. I actually would... It's gotta be... I definitely think, given how much less trouble I had with this in the NES version, comparatively, that the odds of getting stun locked are much worse in the remake. Because in the original, you couldn't save mid-dungeon. You had to start back from the beginning every time. And, I remember getting through with fewer resets than this, I feel, it was the average. Unless I'm just crazy. It's like, they knew you could just save it anywhere, so they made sure the stun locking was guaranteed. Or the stoning. Wow, I can't even clear a single floor. Like, this is nuts. Yeah, but I mean, this is your classic solo stuff. So I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. There's nothing new to talk about. It's get lucky. Because as soon as you find 6 whites and gas that can paralyze you, it's GG. I'm just trying to see if there's any point waiting it out. I mean, we've never broken free of it before, but maybe one time. I think what's probably the difference is the enemy's chance to stun has gone up. Maybe they've changed the mechanics so it's per hit now rather than like one chance when you take damage. And like enemies that only get one attack, like the wraiths, don't guaranteed poison you, but the other ones, the whatever the other guys are called, the Geist and the Ghouls and Geist they were originally. The whites and gas, if they get like 3 attacks, it's basically just guaranteed paralyze, right? Maybe 2 hits, 1 hits, 3 hits, yeah. It might just be now the changes. I'm just trying to think about it. That because they get 3 hits, it's almost guaranteed that we actually had an action finally, and we failed to escape. But yeah, with the higher number of hits, maybe that's what's guaranteeing the paralyze in this game. Alright, wow, we did not even get a turn. I still think in groups of 4, that's about the break point where you have a chance to break free. But when you're fighting a group of 6 or 9, it's just, there's no way. And we're still done. Wow. Well, I guess we get a slightly longer episode than 30 minutes because the game hates me today. I don't think I've ever had this much trouble on floor number 4. On the 4 floor. Oops. This is usually not the floor that gets me. It's usually number 3, honestly. Okay, let's just try to kill, because the orange or the red ones, they're the ones that get 3 attacks. Kill them, and the whites aren't too bad. Alright, see, look at that. Stand by. If there's 4 enemies or less, kill them. Just gotta follow my rule, guys, and I'll be okay. We're so close. No! Now, these guys only get 1 hit, so it's possible. See, we had quite a few hits there before we were stunned. Maybe we can break out of it? I'm gonna feel really bad if I get to the point where the only way through this floor is essentially to say, oh, come on, first one. We actually haven't had an action yet. I've got to put inputs in twice, but we've never actually had a turn where our warrior could do anything. Nope, he still hasn't had an action yet. Hang it. Alright. I give in. You beat me. I'm not going to stand by my morals. Unless I get it this run perfectly. I'm going to be using halfway through floor reloads. This time we won't even see any, you watch. Well, I lied. Would have been nice though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it have been nice to make it through without having to reload in the middle of the floor? It's an in-game action. It's not cheating or anything. I feel like it's kind of abusing the good nature of this game. And it's making it easier. But then again, I did just spend 10 minutes getting no progress. So, you know, fair's fair, probably. Okay, this is the final floor. There's generally nothing terribly scary. In my opinion, this is the safer of the last floors. Alright, now we get to the big question. Is level 28 enough? The answer, let's find out. It's the undead feeding off the earth. The Lich. Oh, you know, we should play the boss music, because this is the Fiend music. They got, like, pretty cool boss music. In fact, this music will be fine. No special Fiend music today. Okay, so again, we still don't have any, like, on-use items or anything, or magic, so there's really nothing to do but hit it till it dies. Soon enough, though, we'll have some strategies, just not today. Now, one thing we can do, which we couldn't do on the last boss, ever since we've been to Crescent Lake, we could buy high potions. They heal enough that you can actually gain... Oh, not stun lock. My Arch Nemesis is back. Anyway, it's probably worth keeping your HP high enough that you don't get one-shot by Thundera. Or lightning 2. Come on, enough with the hold. That's cheating. Slow is double cheat. Sleeping is triple cheating. Okay, well, the Lich is just crushing us here. Should have known my biggest weakness was being paralyzed and put to sleep. And slow. We've got like every status element in the game. That's great. Alright. We just got terrible luck with statuses, as has been the theme of this episode. Alright, come on. Better luck with status effects. Look, he does 1 damage normally. It's nothing. 16. That's great. Yeah, let's just fight it out. Fight me like a man. Mono a mono. I deal damage, you deal damage. That's how we gotta do it. We're a warrior. Swing the axe. Okay, it's got paralyzed touch. I didn't even know about that. That sucks. Well, stun locked to death again. That's great. Alright. I think we can kill him. I think we can do this. Just gonna take a couple tries. It's kind of like Astos. Except worse. Well, he doesn't have instant death. Now, I'm sure a few level ups you guys are saying would help. A bunch of you guys in the crowd, the peanut gallery would call you. You guys are like, Blue, if you just had some level ups, you'll be fine. Remember, they don't really protect you from status elements. All we'd be doing is hitting a little bit harder. And I say a little, it wouldn't make much difference. Trying to remember how many HP the Lich gets in the remake here. At least we have the option of getting a bit of healing in, slightly more than he can do damage. That's the problem, though. Now we're slowed, and there's nothing... We can't really deal proper damage. I mean, on a critical, we deal 24. 31. He has to be basically dead at this point, or else it's just impossible. That's the trouble with slow when you're on a solo fighter party. Alright, I'm pretty sure just like with Astos, it's just a matter of time. It's just unfortunate that we've had kind of bad stretches here. We were on a good roll there for a while. And then immediately paralyzed locked. Well, we survived. Nope, we're dead. Never mind. I take it back. I will tell you guys that in my test run, I did not have half of these problems. I did not get stun locked even close to this often fighting the Lich. And I wasn't doing much more damage, trust me. This is the best weapon you can have. I can't get a more powerful weapon for this fight. Unless he turns out to be weak against the Rune Blade or something, but I don't know about that. I mean, he only has 400 HP in the vanilla game, in the NES version. I feel like in the remake he might get double that, like, I'm guessing maybe 800. That should only take us like 8 or 9 attacks to kill him until we get slowed. Like, he's probably really close. I just have to not die and not get slowed. So I gotta use a couple potions, which unfortunately gets him closer to the slow spell. And as soon as we get stun locked and slowed, GG, we're done. We didn't even get a turn. Dang it! I'm sure we were close on that one. Oh, come on, video games playlist music. I mean, maybe using the high potions is a mistake. Like, maybe it's a trap. It just gives him a chance to stun lock us or slow us the more we do that. I don't know. I mean, now we're slowed. It doesn't ever wear off is the problem, of course. Yeah, this dungeon has been really effective at getting me status locked. Stunned, sleeped, stoned. It's done a great job. Oh man, we're just not doing any damage now. It's just a matter of time until he paralyzes us and then we're dead, yeah. I feel like it's the same thing as the Astos fight. We need to get a bit lucky early on to do some damage before we get slowed. Because once you're slowed, it's just, there's no way. And it's always on a ticking clock. Eventually, he's gonna paralyze you and you're dead. So maybe I shouldn't even think about healing. I should just hope that I get lucky and kill him. before we get slowed, because I don't think there's really any chance after that. I mean, you can see the damage we're doing. 50 is not good. 100 is a lot better. Oh man, we're toast. Unless that had killed him, you know? Maybe this is too low a level. I mean, we've tried it like 20 times, and it's not looking good. I guess the trouble is I don't know exactly how much HP he's got. I can actually find out. You guys want to find out after next death? Just to see if I'm getting anywhere close, because I'm definitely getting into the high hundreds of damage. Like, we must have been able to deal 500 or 600 or 700 damage. Let's find out how much he has. Just a different save file where we've already killed him. He's probably near the bottom here. This one, I think. Not that one. That's the wrong one. Oh, they mixed it in. Okay, so he'll be at the end of the Earth Cave style enemies. Astos, so you'd be under Astos. I probably went right by him. Lich. 1200, so he has 3 times the HP that the vanilla boss has. Maybe I'm just not high enough level. 1200 is pretty high. Alright, well, you tell you what. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to end the episode here. And when we come back, I'll be level 33 or 34 or something. And then we'll try it again. Alright? Sorry about that. I thought we could do it with no grinding, but I overestimated a little bit. You know, unless we get lucky. I mean, I think it's possible to kill him at this level. But 1200's a long way to go. We've done... What am I thinking? I wasn't counting, but we've done like 300 or 400. You know, 450 tops, 500, nothing. Maybe 600 damage. Like, we're halfway by the time we got slowed. Yeah, I think we just need some more levels here. So that's probably what we're going to have to do. Alright, I know what to do then. I'll come back with a few more levels, and next time we'll kill him for sure. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.